So how to lose fat without losing muscle? Because one of the biggest things I see guys struggle with when they go on a fat loss phase, they end up losing way too much muscle. So if they lose 10 pounds, even as less half of that ends up being fat loss, but the other half ends up being muscle loss. So you're basically losing 50-50, which means that your fat loss phase has to last twice as long. At the end of it, you're still not happy with your physique because you just lost a lot of muscle. So really the key with fat loss isn't just how fast you lose all the fat, but it's also holding on to the muscle you have. And in this video, I want to share with you 3 things that will help you figure this out. One is training, the other one is going to be nutrition, and the third one is going to be about recovery. So stay tuned and let's dive into it. So the first thing you got to get handled if you want to lose fat without losing muscle is your training. Your training is actually the most important component when it comes to signaling to your body that it has to keep the muscle it currently has or even build more muscle. Especially if you're a beginner, starting your weight, you want to get leaner, it's not uncommon to see a lot of muscle being built in this situation if you do things right. And the type of training is really important. It doesn't work if you just go to the gym and just jump on a treadmill or do some rowing or do some stationary bike or just do any form of cardio. It's not gonna work if you wanna preserve your muscle. You need progressive resistance training. Now this can be weight training, doing machines, combination of compound lifts, isolation movements, barbells, dumbbells, can be calisthenics combined with these things, but it has to have a progressive nature. So let's say you gotta train 3 days per week. That's what fits your schedule. Can be 3 times full body. It can be a combination upper lower plus 1 day of full body. If you have 4 days, it can be upper lower again, full body combinations, but it has to be progressive in nature. So for example, let's say you did the dumbbell bench press last time, 10 reps with 50s. Well, this time you are looking to get more reps. So you go to 11 or 12 reps, or you're looking to increase the weight and try to get to 10 again. Or let's say you're just looking to do it with better technique. Maybe last time you cheated in the last 2 reps. Now you're trying to get 10 proper reps, or you're just looking to move the dumbbells faster, just to improve overall. There has to be some form of improvement. There has to be some form of progression. And if you approach training like this is the actually most important thing with training in general, and that's what's gonna signal to your body, it has to keep building muscle. The muscle has a reason to be there, and that's gonna really help you. That's the first thing. Now the second thing we gotta dive into is your nutrition. Now with nutrition, there's a couple of things you have to set up in order to lose fat without losing muscle. First is how you're doing your caloric deficit. If your caloric deficit is too large, if you're losing weight too fast, then you're not gonna be able to hold on to as much muscle. So you wanna make sure that you're actually losing at about 0.5 to about 0.7 of your body weight per week. That's as hardcore and as aggressive as you wanna go if your goal is to preserve your muscle or even build muscle. Now the second big component with nutrition is your protein intake. And this is a lot of people get this wrong when they're going into a diet. They ignore their protein intake, they undereat protein, especially if you go for something like OMAD or intermittent fasting where you're eating only twice per day. This is where you can definitely end up undereating your protein. You wanna get about 1 gram per pound of your ideal body weight. So if your ideal body weight is about 160 pounds, this is where your protein should be, about 160 grams per day. And if you're someone not used to eating that much protein, well, then you probably will have to adjust certain things in the types of foods you eat. You have to redo your meal plans, and this will force you to eat generally healthier food and also be more conscious about your nutrition. And protein is so important if you want to build muscle or preserve muscle. So this is something you definitely can't ignore. You just can't just jump into it and start doing some kind of juice cleanse or some kind of crazy regime. You need to handle your macros, you need to handle your calories. And once you set these things up, it will really help you get this done and lose fat without losing muscle. Now with the third component, this is really important. So the third component I want to talk to you about is your recovery. And with recovery, really the most important thing is your sleep. If you're not sleeping enough, we have good scientific literature and this data says that you will not be able to hold on to your muscle mass if you're sleeping at about 4 or 5 hours per night. If you're chronically underslept, if you're not handling this area of your life, proper sleep hygiene, good quality sleep, not just the amount of time you have, but actually good quality, you're gonna be in trouble. You do wanna get in that 7 to 8 hours in a dark room. You wanna have that restorative sleep, so next day you wake up, you might not even need an alarm. If you do things right, you might be able to just get yourself up without any kind of alarm. After 8 hours, I normally wake up without looking at my alarm at all. Like I just have to cancel it because I don't need it anymore. And this is really a good sign. It means that my body's rested, that I don't need more sleep. And if you're someone who's training and you're also dieting and you also have a lot of things happening in your life, let's say lots of stress from work, family, life in general, you need more sleep, especially if you're doing a lot of mentally intensive work throughout the day, which is pretty much all of us. Like I remember when I was a software engineer, when I was doing that, I would be thinking about code and dreaming about code in the night. Now I'm dreaming about macros and calories and things like that. But generally, like if I'm doing something intense mentally throughout the day, I need that rest. So give your body that rest. It's gonna definitely pay off, and your training is gonna be a lot better. Your cravings are gonna go away. You're not gonna be as hungry. It's gonna be actually more consistent with the diet, and that is going to get the job done. Now, also what I'm gonna do here at the end of this video, I'm gonna leave another video that I want you to check out. It's gonna give you more strategies and tips that are based on science. So check that out, that video. It's gonna help you get leaner. Also, if you enjoyed this video, definitely hit the like button below. It does help a lot. Signals to me that you enjoyed my content. Also, if you wanna work with me as your mentor and as your coach, I'm gonna leave some details about that in the description below, so you can check that out there. And other than that, I will see you in that next video.